What's up, y'all? Got another yap session for you. This is going to be a little bit more, a little bit calmer. I feel like the past few have been a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more intense, but this one's going to be kind of feels like the calm before the storm. But this one's going to be about kindness and how overall, long term, you kind of have to just be kind. First to yourself, and then extend that to everybody else around you. This is ginger tea, by the way. It's really good for you. But that's just something I've always kind of learned growing up and through my adolescence and still in my adulthood is just kindness to yourself and kindness to people. It's the only way you're really going to get the result you're looking for and kind of go down the path that it was kind of designated for you. Is the best way to do that is with kindness. You know, quite a few people told me, you know, when you're dealing with flies, the best way to handle it is using honey versus vinegar, which is true. And I appreciate them telling me that because they know I got a lot of flies around me. But I've always used honey, at least for the most part. Can't say always, but I'm always someone who kind of leads with kindness versus with, you know, I try to build people up versus destroy them. Excuse me. Because it destroys you first before you can even destroy the other person, you know what I'm saying? So when you do see someone giving that kindness out, you got to understand that that person probably had to be very kind to themselves before they can even give you that type of kindness. And when you see someone not being kind, being kind of cruel or malicious, they had to have been that way to themselves first. And that's the reason why this cycle keeps happening, because we are definitely in a kindness deficit right now in this world, where everyone's kind of in for themselves and they got their hands in other people's pockets, trying to just get over on other people, which in the short term probably makes a lot of sense, make a decent amount of money, but you're causing a whole lot of chaos and havoc within your own life. You're not at peace with yourself. You can't sleep. You can't eat. And what you are eating it's very destructive. You're not actually having a very comprehensive long-term goal for yourself. You're kind of just crashing out and it's being like, hey, you know, fuck it. It is what it is. Which that's definitely your role in life. But I definitely don't want that for myself. I would definitely every single day try to be kind to myself and pour into myself so I can pour into other people and feed myself knowledge. Even when I'm kind of doing my own escapist things, I try to do things. I try to be in realities that are going to benefit me long term versus the short term. You know, even right now, like we're in a recession. We've probably been in a recession for the past 5 years or so, and a lot of people, rightfully so, are panicking. You know, they're definitely trying, like I said, got their hands in other people's pockets, trying to find a way out of it. But this is just ebbs and flows, man. This is just a temporary thing. Not saying it's not important, but at the same time, it's just a phase. You know, like this is how capitalism goes, and trust me, capitalism doesn't have that much longer either. You know, it's not going to be able to sustain itself for much longer. Knowing how people are, knowing how we are as animals and how selfish we can be, there's no way capitalism can actually work long term. It had a good run, you know, especially in certain periods of history, but it just can't, knowing how, you know, there's hierarchies and there's selfishness and all that kind of fun stuff. We just got a lot of venom inside of us, a lot of hate inside of us right now, and hate mixed with capitalism is not a good mixture. So something's got to give, and I know we're not going to stop hating anytime soon, unfortunately. So capitalism is going to have to die out, and what kind of rises from the ashes of that, I don't know. Probably something beautiful though. Like I said in my previous videos, like better days are coming. I feel like we got like 5 more years of this nonsense, then the 2030s are going to come along. A lot of people who have power, who are in positions of power, that are kind of keeping the status quo what it is, they're not going to have that position anymore. They're going to be exposed for who they are. And new people are going to come in and they're going to do great things. We're just going to have a huge renaissance for the next 10 to 15 years, I believe. I can definitely feel it coming. And I want to be a part of it. I am going to be a part of it. That's why I'm doing this now. So when that time arrives, get ready. So when it's time, you need to get ready. So when it's time to be ready, you are ready. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely riding this storm right now of the hatred, the cruelty, and I'm definitely taking all of this in because I know that this is going to make me better as a person. It's going to make me really, really be grateful that I am being kind. You know, this is the best time in human history, I believe, or one of the best times in human history to be kind to people and not to be cruel and not to get over on other people, because people are going to remember, and most importantly, you're going to remember. And a lot of what we do is subconscious. So if you do wrong by people, you are going to subconsciously right those wrongs, no matter who you think you are. If you do wrong by people, you will have to pay for it. If you're taking, like I said in a previous video, if you take for someone, you don't pay for it. You will pay for it in the back end. You absolutely will. So it's going to it's going to hurt you way more than it hurts the other person. It's just going to eat at you every single day. So it's something that just to be you got to be cognitive. Can't even say the word. You know what I mean? You got to definitely be mindful of that, because it's how the world is and how the natural way of things go. When it comes to going out and living in reality, do to others what you want to be done to yourself. And that is like the truest statement ever. And please just do not go tit for tat for people. That is like the opposite of kindness, is going back and forth with someone. Like try to do that to a minimum. I do it sometimes too, but a lot of times when I do it, it's like a mirror thing. I'm like holding up a mirror, being like, hey, this is who you are. I'm not doing it to be cruel. I'm not doing it to be mean. I'm doing it to be like, hey, you are kind of on this really, really, really destructive path right now, and you need to be kind of reminded about who you actually are and not who you think you are. So sometimes people definitely do need that little awakening, that little reflection of who they are, because if they don't have that, then how can they ever make any meaningful change within themselves? So sometimes I do have to kind of go tit for tat for people and kind of go back and forth with them, just to kind of give them not taste of their own medicine, but like a reality check about being like, hey, this is who you are. I'm showing you who you are. Hopefully you can see that so you can reflect on it. But that comes with kindness. Kind people do that. Kind people, instead of you go low, I go lower, you go low, I stay where I'm at, but I show you where you're going. That's kind of something that's what kind people do. And I've always been surrounded by, I always try to surround myself with kind people who have been, some people's eyes wronged, or, been led astray, been abused. Those are the people who I kind of gravitate towards. That's why I'm even wearing my Naruto hoodie today, because he's one of few people who I resonated with quite a bit during my adolescence. I was very, very blessed to read that manga series growing up, because I resonated so much with it. And then one of the beautiful things about it is he showed that you can be kind to people even when you're going to war with them, even if those people have just done the most unspeakable things to you and the people that you love. You don't have to go tit for tat for them. You don't have to go lower and continue these things and continue spreading the misery and the pain. You can, rise above it and be like, hey, I don't want this for you. I don't want this for anybody. I don't want this for myself. And I want to kind of lead by example and kind of evolve past this. It's a beautiful thing about humans. We understand subconsciously, some of us consciously, but most of us subconsciously that we have to continue to evolve year after year, day after day, hour after hour. We have to evolve and we have to be better than we used to be every single day. We have to keep shedding our skin and just be a better version of ourselves. And the second we stop doing that, we get left behind. And all of a sudden, those are the most miserable, resentful people in the world because they thought that they can just stay the way that they are, and everyone else is going to stay there with them. Like, no, we're all moving forward, my guy. You gotta kind of keep going with us, or you're going to get left behind, and no one's gonna come back for you. And that's kind of what I saw there. And the people who kept moving with them, they kept progressing. They had very good lives. They went on to do great things, and the people who didn't, they got left behind. So that's something I've always learned. I'm always, every single day, trying to be a better version of myself. And sometimes I do have, intrusive thoughts of hurting the people who hurt me and hurt the people that I love, because that's just kind of something that we've naturally kind of, it's just inside of us as animals. We just kind of want to go tit for tat for people just because of how we feel, but you can't let those intrusive thoughts win. You kind of had to let all that shit out. And like a few hours ago, I had like a really good cry about allowing my intrusive thoughts to win, because I would be letting this dude down because he's part of me. If I would have did that, because he never did that. He never went tit for tat with people, even though he was a little kid. He never went tit for tat for people. And I didn't either, you know what I'm saying? I never really actually went tit for tat. I went back in school, people making fun of me, calling me names and shit, calling me, making fun of how dark my skin is or whatever they can find to kind of tear me down. I would kind of go back and forth with them a little bit, but I knew like long term that was kind of like tearing me down. Not what they were saying, but what I was saying in return, going, firing back at them. And I knew I could say like way worse things about them. I knew I can like send these people to hell and have them just hate me for the rest of their lives. I could have just, I know where their pressure points are. I can just take them right out. I never really did. I might have done that maybe once or twice, but I've had multiple opportunities to send people straight to hell, and I never did. And I'm glad I didn't, because I knew by doing that, I'll be harming myself way more than harming them. At the end of the day, they would have just kind of shrugged it off and been like, whatever, or be like, oh yeah, I was right about you, and this, that, and the third. You're kind of just proving them right by doing that. And, reading Naruto, that kind of showed me that doesn't lead to anything other than just misery or at the very most, mediocrity. Kind of mean people where they're at, and kind of you go low, I go lower, allowing your intrusive thoughts to win, being very impulsive instead of grounding yourself and being like, hey, this is bigger than me. I kind of have to think this out, be a little bit more strategic about how I want to go about this. Have someone who's coming at me, someone who does not like me because they don't like themselves, and they're projected out onto me. How do I handle this? How do I get what I want out of this? And I've been doing that my whole life, and it shows. I do care about myself. I do love myself. I go out in the world, because so many people want to tell me who they think I am, and they want to pretend I'm not who I am, even though I've been this person my whole entire life. And I went out yesterday. Just went out for a walk. I was kind of in a bad mood, not in the greatest mindset. And I went outside, had a tank top on, had some shorts or whatever. I was looking pretty good. And like the amount of stares I got from people, especially women, was like insane. Like it was way more than normal. I had a couple people come up to me and tell me how like handsome I was, how like I'm like very, very handsome, and this, and my aura is just kind of, it's kind of off the charts right now, because I am just pouring so much into myself right now. And I'm just being very kind to myself. And part of that is having those dark thoughts, reasoning with them, and understanding that that's what makes me who I am. And overcoming them is what brings out the best in me. The reason why, my body is kind of reacting the way that it is, and it's kind of loving me back. It's kind of giving me the results that I'm looking for. Like I keep saying, life's a marathon. You got to make sure you're ready for it every single day. You know what I'm saying? Some days you only got to run half a mile. Some days you got to run 15. You know what I'm saying? You got to be ready for both every single day, because life's not going to set up. It's not going to slow down. It's not going to be kind to you just because. You got to be ready for it. So, like I was saying earlier about this recession that we're in and that we're coming into it, I'm not worried about it at all. You know, I'm always going to have a way to make my way through it, because who I am and how I carry myself, I'm going to be okay, and my loved ones are going to be okay. The people who think the way that I think and who will lead with kindness are going to be okay. It's the other people who weren't or that aren't going to be okay. And it's like, that's kind of what happens when you kind of get tough when you're up. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta understand, like, life's a marathon, and you can't act like, oh, I won this sprint, so it's like I'm the best. Like, nah, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. Rents due every single day, and if you were not kind during all those days where you were up, you know, Judgment Day is coming for everybody. In these next 5 years, like, people are definitely going to start getting exposed for not being very kind. You know what I'm saying? If you've been kind for most of your life, you will be rewarded here very, very shortly. Trust me, it's coming. But if you have not been kind, if you have been spreading your misery, spreading your hate, spreading your pain, everybody who in the 10-mile radius is going to come back to you. You know, and there's nothing you can do but be kind to those people, and be like, hey, you know, you're going to get through it. It's going to be okay. And if you don't get through it, it's life. You know what I'm saying? Just try to minimize the damage you're going to cause when you're going to go out here crashing out. But yeah, just try to the best of your ability, just be kind to yourself. You know, you can't be kind to other people. You can't help anybody else before you help yourself. So just be kind to yourself. Give yourself some grace. Allow yourself to rest. You know what I'm saying? Some of the best, most productive days I've ever had is because the day before, or a couple of days before, I didn't do anything. I was just kind of in my thoughts, writing things, reading things, kind of putting myself in a position to go out here and do good work. You know, it's like I said, some days it's a marathon. I might only run half a mile. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, it is what it is. I didn't get a whole lot of tangible or kind of, you know, surface level productive things done, but I know in a day or two I'm out here doing 20 miles. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here really putting in that good work, and it's effortless. It's not even hard. You know, I don't work hard. Work hard is the biggest grip in the entire world. You know, nothing in the nothing in the world is worth working hard for. Absolutely not. This never has been, never will be. It should be effortless. It should be right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? You should never have to. You should be able to walk into every single good situation coming your way. And if you don't, you have to work hard for it. It's not even worth it. Not even close. So I'm hoping that not hoping. I know I have a whole bunch of blessings coming towards me. I have a blessing right in front of me now that I'm trying to navigate my way through, but I can't rush it. So I do apologize to her for trying to rush things, but I got a whole lot of good things coming towards me. I know I do, because I've been working towards this. This is who I am. I cannot allow other people to dictate who I am, or to use cherry pick different examples of who they think I am, who they think I am onto me. You know, like I said in my example, I went outside yesterday, had on a tank top, had on some shorts, had my hair in a ponytail, went out for a walk at the local park, and yeah, I was just getting so many looks, so many good looks. Like I said, my aura was just off the charts, and people can tell, right? Because I'm so kind to myself, right? That's how you have that aura. So you're kind to yourself. You allow good things to happen. But sometimes my aura is a little bit off. Sometimes I don't have the best energy, and I need to definitely make sure that I'm not blanking on the word, projecting that out to other people. I want people at least understand that, yeah, I'm not going to always be firing on all cylinders, but for the most part, you know, I am doing pretty well, and I'm going to continue doing well, because I'm not going to give in. to what everybody else is doing, and how everyone else. I've always been curious about how people can stay, employed and keep their jobs and keep their houses and homes while also keeping their sanity. And I realized that everyone's kind of selling their souls. They're kind of just doing what's best for them short term, just so they can keep the status quo, keep up with the Joneses. And yeah, that type of thinking isn't going to last long for multiple reasons. Like if you aren't being kind to people, you're just being phony or faking it till you make it. That type of thinking, that type of living is going the way of the dodo. You know what I'm saying? That will not last very long. It's not very kind to lie to yourself. That's the least kind thing you can do is lie to yourself, because no one's going to protect you from that. Only person who knows that at the end of the day is you. You know what I'm saying? You're out here pretending to be someone that you're not. You're hurting yourself for years to come, because you could have been using that time being honest and being truthful and living in your purpose and living in your truth, but instead you didn't. I'll always empathize with those people. I'll never shame them or anything like that. But at the same time, it's like no one can. I'm not even gonna put that on myself. No one can save you from yourself. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do the work and make sure that you're actually living truthfully. Stop pretending to be people that you're not. That's something that both men and women are struggling with. We keep inflating our egos and having so much pride about who we are and this, that, and the third. And it's just like, at the end of the day, that's not going to get you where you want to go. You want to do great things. You want to be a great person. You want to be a legendary person. You got to be true. You got to be honest. You gotta really, really be out here and just not thinking that you're better than anybody else, not putting yourself over anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like this, I know it's a old saying. Everybody wants to be kings and queens, but they don't want to do king and queen shit. You know what I'm saying? And the best royalty has always, sat down with the regular people. Broke bread with regular people, had a beer with a regular person, and really just be authentic and true with them. It's like saying earlier, that's the ultimate form of kindness. You're doing that for yourself. You're not doing it for them. You're not being kind for them. You're being kind for yourself. And that's the ultimate form of kindness, is to be authentic and be true, and to humanize yourself and being like, I'm no better than anybody else. We're all in this together. We all have a role to play. Technically there is somewhat of a hierarchy, but for the most part, we're all just shoulder to shoulder. And we just have to be kind to ourselves and allow that to be who we are. Recently, because of the people who I've been going to war with, they have sabotaged my truck to where I don't have any transportation. I've been taking the bus, and it's been great. I love it. I love going on the bus. I love, being around people who just aren't fortunate enough to have a vehicle, and they're not these weird, crazy, out of control people. I took the bus before when I was a kid, but I haven't taken as much as I have now, and it's cathartic. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of being around people who just aren't fortunate to have a vehicle. And I wish public transportation was more accepted than what it is now. It's pretty unfortunate, because it is nice. It is nice to even have it. I wish we had more of it. I wish we had more trains. I wish we had more ways to cycle on bikes. But we'll get there. Like I said, it's all going ebbs and flows. I think the next 5 years we're going to see how cars are kind of archaic a little bit, and we're going to get away from them. I think what Musk is doing, he's definitely going to help Eshin back the bikes. But he's going to figure it out. I empathize with him as well, even though I don't agree with who he is and what he's doing and all the fuckery he's got going on. He's a product of his environment, so I can't really hate on him. He is me, I am him. We're two sides of the same coin. So, he'll figure it out, or he won't. Just be kind to yourself. Elon, I'll be kind to you. And Trump and all those guys, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna shit on them like everybody else is, because that doesn't serve me any. Acting like I'm better than them, and they're idiots and they're dumb, and they're like, no, that's bunch of nonsense. You know, we're all just trying to figure it out. At the end of the day, I ain't got the answers. I doubt you do either. So that's pretty much it. Just be kind to yourself every single day. Like this, you know, ginger tea. You know, take some ginger root, skin it, take some lemons, chop them up, even get some mint leaves, put them in a pot, boil them, put some honey in there, stir it all together. There you go. It's really good. And it's pretty cheap too. I think ginger root, you can get a decent amount of that for like $5. Get lemon for like $5, and the mint leaves for like $5. You can have like, depending on how big your pot is, you can get like 4 or 5 pots of those a week. It's really good. So it's one way to be kind to yourself, is to do good things to yourself. Cook for yourself, clean for yourself. Just be kind to you. Be kind to you, and trust me, it would. That's like the ultimate black pill, is be kind to yourself. That's the number one thing. Is you do that, it doesn't matter how attractive you are, how tall you are, how much money you have, it will radiate off it will radiate off of you. No matter what you do, no matter how you were raised or your environment, be kind to yourself, man, and the world will just give it all back to you. Trust me. I am very, very grateful for what I have and what I'm doing, and how kind people have been to me. Despite the reality we're in, people are still looking out for me. So I know, even though I'm by myself, 90% of the time, I'm never alone. People are always sending good energy to me every single day, because I send my good energy to myself, and I project that out everywhere I go. Try to be kind to people, try to be kind to everybody around me, because that's just the person that I am, and that seems to be the best way moving forward for everybody, is to be kind. So that's the move for the next 5 years, for the rest of my life, but the next 5 years is just to be kind. Be kind to yourself and be kind to everybody else. What I'm doing with my local, my union, it's going to be kind. I could go tit for tat for them and kind of just make this situation worse than what it is, but I'm just going to be kind to them, be kind to my family, be kind to everybody who's ever, wronged me, or just did things to did things out of cruelty to me or to other people, or just to themselves. Just be kind to them at the end of the day. And I've done a pretty good job of that. It wasn't always consistent. I'm human, but for the most part, I have been extremely kind to people, and because I am extremely kind to myself. I am hard on myself a lot of the times, but overall, I am pretty kind to myself. And that's the reason why I am the way that I am, and I'm very happy with the results I'm getting. So that's all the yapping I got for y'all today. Just gonna try to be a little bit more lighthearted than the past few, even though I think the past few videos have been pretty good. But this one is just all about kindness, just be very kind to yourself and everybody else, even if they aren't on your side. You don't have to, like I said yesterday, when you're going to war with people, you don't got to kill them. You don't really have to. You can just kind of defend yourself and be like, hey, this ain't gonna fly. We ain't doing that. And then go from there. That's it. Y'all take it easy.